come on, FPJ. Don't do this to her, man. Don't do it to her.
You were so distraught because USC lost at Illinois.
And lost their season.
Yeah.
By the way, if you lose to Illinois, you're not going to go on and beat Michigan, Notre Dame, and Oregon. Oregon's going to blow their doors off. You're not going to win in South Bend. And Michigan, you might beat them at the Coliseum, but you also may not.
Yeah, well,
season's over, Cappy.
Okay, hey, listen.
Fire Lincoln Riley today.
Oh, stop.
Fight on.
Oh, wow.
Stop.
Okay.
This not going to be ridiculous either.
Well, why? I mean, listen.
Fire Lincoln Riley today?
You want to wait till the end of the season to do it?
No. How about, let's see what the season looks like.
And
how about
knowing
that?
how this season's going, Bergey's Bruins are going to beat them.
No.
Oh, wow.
that's going to happen.
Well,
That's going to happen.
That probably cannot happen.
I'm leaving.
Come on.
It may not happen, but I'm trying to be dramatic.
Okay, well,
If UCLA beats USC, UCLA is the worst FBS team, period. They are terrible.
You know what, Bergey? Hey, if UCLA beats USC, could be good news. Lincoln Riley will get fired, and UCLA can hire him.
By the way,
not for $10 million.
Tonight, after we record the Yom Kippur special stuff, you and Sedano tonight, do you want to watch She's All That at East Central?
I wouldn't mind. I've not seen it. I don't recall
What?
seeing it.
You've never seen it either?
I don't recall seeing it.
FPJ was in it. By the way,
It's a great
Freddie Prinze
movie.
Jr., our friend.
Yeah.
You should watch Not Another Teen Movie after that.
No,
Very, very funny.
You bring up SC, though, George, and here's the thing. You did say, I give you all the credit. You
This
said,
was going to be the first real test.
But here's what I think I kind of walked away from this weekend when it comes to USC season and the Big Ten in general. USC has not done a good job, obviously, of either A, recruiting or B, cultivating players who play in that conference. USC is still early into the conference.
I don't think it's I know you're going to go to the traditional Big Ten,
right? It's
3 yards in a cloud of dust, and you got to dominate the lines. Listen, I don't care what conference you're in. You need to have 300-pound guys along the offensive line and defensive line.
Absolutely, and that's going to be my point. Because listen, Chris, you can talk about how upset you were that USC lost and how could they lose at Illinois. Look, I think a lot of our perception about Illinois had changed the week before when Indiana didn't just beat them, they motorboated them.
I mean, blew the doors off of them. Yeah.
And USC was very lucky still to be in that game because, again, you talk
By
about
the way,
turnovers.
Indiana's now the number 8 team in the country.
Very good. Hey, listen, you beat a team the way they beat down Illinois the week before, and you continue to win.
And they went to Iowa, which is not an easy place to win either.
And so Indiana is getting its respect.
Yeah.
When the preseason, and this is the whole thing about preseason rankings.
By the way, Iowa could beat USC.
100%.
Yeah.
Look, when USC played, this was last year when they played Wisconsin at the Coliseum. I remember being at that game and being on the field before the game, and the several USC associate athletic directors saying, "Wow, look at the size of this Wisconsin team."
Yeah.
So there is a difference to what traditional Big Ten teams recruited versus what more traditional Pac-12 teams recruited. And now USC finds themselves in a different level of physicality kind of conference, and they're not able to yet match it. And you talk about USC losing this game, George. There were 2 plays in particular that really come to mind for me.
Yeah.
There was the turnover as Illinois is going into the end zone and USC causes a fumble,
right,
which was a play that was controversial and it was very hard to see.
Yeah.
But they called fumble on the field, so they weren't going to overturn it.
Right.
That changed the game for SC. That kept them alive in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And later in the game, Illinois is running towards a touchdown. The running back is going in, and the USC secondary player pulled a Nate Landman, and he punched the ball out, creating a fumble.
Yeah.
So those 2 turnovers changed the game, meaning it kept SC in the game. Otherwise, the truth of the matter is USC was getting pushed around that field by Illinois. Their big men, the Illinois big men against the USC wannabe big men, it was all Illinois. And that's just the unfortunate reality of where USC is. And George, to accentuate the point I'm trying to make, look what happened later in the day on Saturday when Oregon went to Penn State.
Yeah.
This is number 3 Penn State at home in a whiteout with 110,000 people and a national television audience. And here comes Oregon. And Oregon goes nose to nose, toe to toe, and winds up pulling out the win.
On the road in a very hostile, tough environment.
So when Oregon is the Pac-12 team that you left with, you left the Pac-12 and you went to the Big Ten together. Oregon is physically prepared to play against the top level of competition.
Their coach is a defensive line guy. Their previous coach was an offensive line guy, and they have been good on the lines of scrimmage because of their coach's philosophy on how to build along the lines of scrimmage. Now, historically, while at Oklahoma, I'm not saying they had bad offensive lines, but they were getting the ball out quick. They
had star quarterbacks, superstar, first round, Heisman Trophy caliber quarterbacks.
Right. And I think Mayava has played well.
Yeah, he's good.
But I don't know if he's at that level.
He's a good player.
Right.
But I don't know that Jaden Maeva is going to be everybody's top overall pick coming into the draft. You know, he may have a chance to play in the NFL,
right?
But I don't know that he's going to be a first-round draft pick. Nobody's talking about him like that right now.
He's a group of 6 player who's leveled up and playing well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's played poorly.
No, it's not on him.
I just think that defensively, when you have 155 to go, okay, and you need to preserve a lead, and you're just getting mauled, that's kind of the game right there. Like that last 2 minutes, to your point, encapsulated what was most of the game on the defensive side.
Yeah, and I'll say one other thing. You know, SC has a defensive end, and I wish I could recall the kid's name off the top of my head. He is a kid who last year decided to reclassify, and he decided to go to SC. So in other words, he graduated high school a year early, right? It doesn't mean he's 16 or 17 years old, because you could be a junior in high school and be 18,
right?
And because you may have missed a grade along the way, and you were trying to increase your profile in high school football. But when a kid reclassifies and he's a true freshman and he's your starting defensive end, well, that just kind of tells you that you don't have enough big grown men in your program,
right?
That an 18-year-old freshman who should be playing high school football now is your starter.
Do you want to really have a deeper conversation about this? And it's not just an SC thing. It really is. The way things were structured, okay, prior to the 12-team playoff, really, I think, hurt the Pac-12 in a big, big way. Because basically what happened was you had 4 teams, 4 to 5, 6 teams max, who were kind of in the conversation constantly. You know, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia,
Michigan,
et cetera. Right. Yeah. And because of that, occasionally a Washington would pop through, or an outlier team would pop through, right? But for the most part, there were 3 dominant figures in Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia. And then there was always one other team that would have a shot to pop through. But out of that one other shot, there's really only a handful of teams, 6, 7 teams max, that were able to break through there. So because of that, the Pac-12 felt the need to level up in financial terms to be able to compete with those 3 particular programs. And that really helped accelerate the Pac-12 disbanding. And because all those teams were a little bit behind the 8 ball in a recruiting aspect, because those 3 teams dominated the blue chip type of players. And then NIL was still somewhat in its infancy, right? Now teams have kind of started to catch up, and you're seeing teams, hell, look at a team like Vanderbilt. They're going to play at ABC against Alabama in a real game. Okay, they beat Alabama last year.
That's why they would bring it back.
Right, and they're playing good this year. Okay, so things have changed, but the Pac-12 was behind on NIL, behind on recruiting, and they are playing catch-up. Outside of Oregon, they're all just playing catch-up, and USC is no different in that regard.
And Washington had their one little breakthrough moment where they played in the national championship game, and then they lost their head coach to Alabama.
Right.
And Washington, I'll give them an ounce of credit, which is to say that they put up a decent fight against Ohio State
for 3 quarters.
Right. And then Ohio State just did what they did. But let's just bring it all back to SC for 1 second.
Right.
Here's the reality, SC fans. You may not like to hear it, but guys like Sua, they'll tell it to you, because Sua he doesn't hold back, and he doesn't homer for SC. He's a fan, and he loves the program, but he tells you the way it is. The USC football team, man for man, position for position.
They can't compete with the top 4 or 5 teams in that conference.
Right. So imagine
at the moment.
Right. So imagine
along the lines of scrimmage.
Based on what you saw out of Oregon, Penn State, how would USC have been able to compete against Penn State? USC can't go to Champaign, Illinois, who is they're good.
Right.
They're not great, They're good.
I
They're solid.
I would even make the case that they're very good.
Okay, I don't agree because, again, the turnovers, that's a huge problem. And listen, credit to SC. The kid who punched the ball out, that's a great play.
Yeah.
The kid from Illinois that was going in for the touchdown, and that was that controversial fumble. This stuff can't happen if you're going to be a real team that's going to compete for a conference championship. But when you see what Oregon did at Penn State, and you see what USC was unable to do at Illinois, can we agree on this? That Penn State is considered, I'm not saying they are because these preseason rankings drive me nuts, but Penn State is considered
one of the better
superior,
teams in the country. Yes.
Far superior to Illinois.
Yes.
Okay? So
they're in a different category.
Right.
Yes.
So if Oregon can go to Penn State and do that,
right,
and USC goes to Illinois and can't win,
right,
and gets bullied.
Yeah, USC would need some turnover luck or something to that effect to be in games like that. It's not in a one-game scenario, anything can happen. But yes, if I played that game 10 times, USC at Penn State, they're probably losing 8 of them.
Right. And and if you played USC at Illinois 10 times, SC's probably losing 6 of them.
Maybe, yeah.
Because it was a close game. I mean, in the
5
end,
or
it was
6, right? They're about splitting.
Right. So, but that's what I'm getting at is that the upper echelon, Ohio State, Oregon,
different
Penn
level.
State, I guess
those
Michigan
are the 3.
traditionally.
No, those are the 3 right now, this year.
Right.
Yeah.
SC, based on what I saw this past weekend at Illinois, and based on what I saw Oregon at Penn State, SC cannot compete yet.
Correct.
And Oregon, Washington hosted Ohio State, and there were a lot of people that thought Ohio State's going to get upset in this Washington game. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
The traditional Big Ten teams are far and ahead further than the traditional Pac-12 teams, with the exception of Oregon.
Let's see what happens with Michigan. They have a bye.
Worst time ever for a bye. To lose at Illinois and have to wait 2 weeks for Michigan to get here.
See, I disagree with that. I actually think it gives them a chance to kind of recalibrate a little bit.
But when you're a college kid, don't you want to get it off your mind immediately?
No, they need the real. I think on the contrary, you need those 2 weeks to prepare for another good team.
See, and I think that from a fan base perspective, a lot of people could go to sleep. Oh, it's been a week. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, then they didn't play. Michigan. That's not as exciting.
They can beat Michigan because Michigan is not the Michigan of 2 years ago.
I hope you're right. I despise
Michigan.
Michigan.
Thank the Lord. Thank Coach Harbaugh.
But to have to sit at the Coliseum in 2 weeks on that Saturday, we don't know the time yet, but Saturday night and watch them lose to the Wolverines.
They can win that game. They can bounce back and win that game despite all the things we've said is still true. But they have 2 weeks to prepare. They're at home. That's a game they can absolutely win. Whether they do it or not is a different story, but they can win that game in 2 weeks.
Cappy was